Good afternoon, everyone. It is Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday after a long weekend. Welcome back to school if your children started school today. For a lot of people in the U.S., kids are going back to school. So, we are going to start this morning with a story about, teen mom. I swear to God, you guys, I'm a little teen mommed out here. Not gonna lie. We need to take a little break. But it keeps coming. It's like every day. All right. So last night was the reunion, and there was a lot of stuff that was disclosed in the reunion and a lot to unpack here. And so I was going to perhaps just focus on a couple aspects here rather than diving into everything. I just don't... There was some parts of it that were literally just like not even worth discussing. So... everything started with all of the girls out on the couch, obviously, and this was a wild season. Obviously, we ended the season with Amber being arrested and Gary talking about it with Christina and Tyler and Kate visiting Carly and Taylor and Maci arguing about a vasectomy and Ryan theoretically being clean, and Cheyenne and Matt and Cory and Taylor doing a lot of random stuff. And then Mackenzie showed up for a couple episodes, and, well, we all know how that happened. So, here we go. So, last night, when they were on the couch, they all were kind of like, what happened with Amber? And, of course, the girls couldn't really say anything. They couldn't really talk about it. And so, rather than talking about it, they basically just... They didn't talk about it. They basically were just like, Maci was like, well, I will kind of like, I just let her know that I'm there for her. And Kate said that she checks in with Amber every single day, and that's about it. So Cheyenne didn't really have a whole lot to say. She just said it was hard. A tough situation. So then after that, Cheyenne didn't really have a whole lot to say. She just said it was hard. Oh. Sorry, you guys. I am having some technical difficulties here. So, the bulk of everything gets started with Cheyenne and Cory are interviewed for 5 minutes, and they cry about like how their kid had pneumonia, and Cory doesn't understand about their daughter's condition, and Cheyenne's worried about her daughter dying, and her daughter has some random rare genetic disorder that causes her with the inability to break down some sort of protein that causes issues with her blood sugar, and so she has to take specific medications and eat frequently, and she's hypoglycemic, and they don't say what the condition is. Again, MTV for the fail. Then we move on to Tyler. Sorry, you guys, they're tiling today. The bathroom remodel continues. Tyler and Kate take the stage to talk about their season, and then guess who showed up? Teresa and Brandon. So Teresa and Brandon show up, and this is the first time they're actually on the show for like 10 years, you guys. And then they show this whole rewind of like the day that Catelynn gave birth to Carly. They talk about handing Carly over to, or giving Carly over to Teresa and Brandon. They talk about their first meeting. Brandon and Teresa discuss how they, they're not surprised that Kate and Tyler are still together. Oddly, in this entire exchange between them, nothing by any of the interviewers was discussed about, possible tensions in the relationship or difficulties with the adoption or anything like that. It was all just very high level. In fact, in general, Dr. Drew and Nessa basically asked no hard questions of anyone. It was like, almost like they were just like, so how's the adoption? Okay, good, cool, moving on. I mean, wasn't there so much drama this year about being late? They didn't even ask about that. They didn't ask about why it had been so many years since they had seen each other. They, in fact, didn't say anything about anything to do with the adoption. It was kind of weird. And Brandon and Teresa basically just thanked them, and then they all were like oozing over Tyler, because Tyler is apparently the only birth dad in the United States of America that has ever stuck by and maintained communication with their biological child. And that was how they were. And then Oh yeah, Kate and Tyler talked about Butch and how Butch is not sober and they just want Butch to be sober and that's all they want. Okay, so that's moving on. That was Kate and Tyler. It was really like that boring. I was really annoyed that they didn't ask any questions about the adoption or any of the difficulties. It was so dumb. Okay. So then we get to Maci? Yeah. Maci and Taylor take the stage to talk about everything that went on this season with relation to Ryan. Again, they didn't ask anything about the vasectomy. They didn't ask anything about the other children. It was all related to Ryan. And so they asked him, Dr. Drew asked her if she planned to, how do I say this nicely? If she planned to drop the restraining order. And she said no. She actually said, I have no plans of dropping this restraining order because, you know what, not having to fight with Ryan about stuff is nice, and I'm able to process my grief and process the anger and process all the stuff that we've been through, and I don't have to add any more fuel to the fire. I don't know if that's like reason to stick to having a restraining order on, but hey, if you're still worried that about your safety, that's another reason. But she didn't really say I'm afraid of my safety. She was more just like, I don't want to deal with the drama, so I'm going to keep this restraining order up. Okay, whatever. I mean, I guess he did just get out of prison, so anyways. Then Ryan takes the stage. Oh my God. So Dr. Drew. Oh my God. See, Dr. Drew and Dr. Phil are two of the most worthless doctors on TV. Anyway, he starts talking to Ryan about how is Ryan doing in his recovery. Ryan's like, good. Literally no other questions about his recovery. Not one question. Are you going to meetings? Are you in therapy? What are you doing, Ryan? Are you taking steps to make sure that you don't relapse? Like, what's going on, Ryan? What is going on? Sorry, there's this hair that's just sticking here. Okay. Anyways. So, no questions whatsoever about any of that. It's just like, hi, Ryan, how's your recovery? Good. Okay, Ryan, that's super lame, and I don't believe you. Then he's like, so let's talk about the opioid addiction problem in America. Okay, Dr. Drew, yes. Ryan is going to be your program poster child for the opioid addiction problem of America. And Ryan says that his addiction started with pain pills. And so he started taking pain pills, and then he never in his right mind believed that there would be any sort of addiction that would happen as a part of it. He didn't even realize that he was addicted until he didn't have it for a few days, and then after not having it for a few days, he started getting sick. He said when he got home, his friend told him that he was sick because he hadn't had any of his pills, and he gave him some of the pills, and then he felt better. And he said after that day when he realized that he didn't have to feel sick again, he just kept using. And then he said he never intended to use heroin, but he did. And then once he started using, he said he never went back. He said he would never start injecting, but I guess he did. I mean, it's wild. And he went to prison, and he said he didn't pay a bar tab, and he said that the reason that he decided to go to prison was because he just didn't want to be on probation anymore, and he just wanted to be done with it, to which he told Dr. Drew that he has no probation or parole anymore, so he's a free man in the eyes of the law at this point. Then things get really interesting because he starts talking to Ryan about his relationship with Bentley. And so, you know, most of it was focused on his recent, like, issues with his, you know, problems, right? And they touch on how he missed Jagger's birth. And so he said, yeah, you missed Jagger's birth. And he goes, yeah, I was real pissed about that. But what can you do? It's probably better I wasn't there. Ryan, the man of many words. Then he asks him about, he says, Maci says that you're more like an uncle or like a fun friend for Bentley. And then Ryan was like, well, Maci talks a lot of shit, and I don't even give a damn. I'm done being nice. And then he says, Bentley's mine. I have part of Bentley. I can make choices. I'm not his uncle. I'm his father. He is mine. So that was that. And Dr. Drew was like, do you just think that's maybe your addiction talking, Ryan? And he's like, are you maybe blaming Maci because you don't want to take responsibility for your addiction? He's like, no, it's Maci's fault. The only reason I don't have a relationship with Bentley is because Maci she controls everything and she doesn't let me have a relationship with him. These are not the words of a man that is deep in recovery, let's just say. He is not taking accountability or responsibility for what he's done to his children. His attitude shows that he is not out of the woods yet. And when he even said, like, I don't want to go back there. Like, being in this addiction was like being in a cage. Couldn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. My life was, terrible. But then at the same breath, he says, and I can't say that I won't relapse tomorrow. I mean, I'm sure that's obvious for anyone that's going through recovery. However, I feel like people that are really deep in their recovery, and I have lots and lots of you that take it very seriously, and I mean taking it seriously, they don't talk like this. So he's just very early in his recovery, or he has a lot of work to do, or he's just not taking it as seriously. Either way, his wife comes on and she's just all like, everything's great. We're having a girl. Ryan's just my best friend and everyone loves, and I'm just so glad that everyone's seeing the amazing man that he is. What? I didn't see anything amazing about Ryan this season. He was in the pokey for like 3 months. He came out and he looked like he was still wasted. And then on the reunion, he basically blamed Maci for his lack of a relationship with his son. Ryan taking no accountability for anything in his life, and he still has his number one Klingon enabler of Mackenzie. So now, all these teasers they made about Amber speaking out, well, that didn't happen. She actually will not be featured until tonight. So the second part of the reunion will actually be airing tonight, because next week the new season of Teen Mom 2 kicks off. Oh, yay, more to talk about. And it will be featuring it'll be the first season without Janelle Eason. And we will be welcoming in Jade. So there's going to be lots and lots of drama with her, I guess. So tonight we will feature Amber's interview, and I had the opportunity to speak with Andrew Glennon last night in long detail, like a lot of detail. And I can't disclose anything yet at this point. I am working with him on putting together a statement that he feels comfortable putting out about everything that went down. He can't answer questions about the case because it's ongoing. But I will tell you guys that after speaking with him, I think there has been a lot of assumptions about him that are really inaccurate and I think unfair. And I think whenever we're dealing with these types of situations, we also need to remember that we shouldn't be doing any sort of victim blaming here. And I think there's a lot that went on behind the scenes that MTV hasn't shown, or has refused to show, or has just left on the editing floor. And I also think that there's way more to what happened that night than that's even being reported. So try to be kind when you think about whether or not you think he egged her on or not, because to be honest, from what I heard last night, there's a lot more to this than just what happened in a single incident. So, and he was open and honest, and that's all I gotta say. And once he is comfortable with me sharing more information, I will do that. But I was excited to sort of hear not excited, that sounds really terrible. I was happy to hear his point of view, and happy to hear like how everything's going. And you guys should just know that James is doing really well, and he is keeping him safe and healthy, and hopefully going to be able to move with James to California to get back to work. So I'll be back later. I still am going to do my assumptions video, and I've got some more stuff in the pot for you today. If there was something from the reunion that you think I missed that you want me to touch on, let me know. The episode 2 or part 2 is tonight. That you would like me to ask him, let me know in comments. All right, you guys. Bye.